Okay, we're ready.
All right. Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we complete a bourbon bracket challenge designed to determine the best bourbon-themed bowling team name. My name is Miss Beka Sue. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Royce Neely, Lenny Eckstein, Turner Wathen, and Brandon Collins.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Howdy.
What's up, guys?
Hey-o. So we've got a fun show today. The best bourbon-themed bowling team name. So we're going to do a bracket challenge designed to determine what is potentially the best bowling name that is bourbon-themed. I just made these up, so there's not. Lenny thought I actually did some research. I mean, there's no research involved in this.
You should have just told him you did do research, and these are the
maybe I
actual
should
names
have.
of bourbon bowling teams.
Yeah, I called.
You would never know. You could just
Lee
have
May
Lenny
Bowl.
peace of mind.
Yeah. You didn't believe it, but I didn't. So before we get to our topic of the day, we'll of course do some drinking. But even before that, we got to get to know Brandon. He's never been on a show before. So, Brandon, tell us about yourself, man.
Yeah, so I'm the head distiller at Taconic Distillery. Used to be at Buffalo Trace as a distillery supervisor before that. We're trying to make New York bourbon relevant now up here at Taconic. But I live here in New York City, so I'm in Harlem right now.
Okay. And how did you end up there? Was it the job that took you there? Did you end up moving to New York and then you're like, I got to find a gig, or how did you end up where you're at right now?
So we came up here for my 30th birthday 4.5 years ago.
Okay.
I really loved the city, so it took me about a year to find a job up here. And that's after we got the job, that's when we moved up here.
Okay. So, and what did you do at Buffalo Trace?
As a distillery supervisor, worked directly for Harlan Wheatley. So we managed all distilling production from grain till it went to the barrel, and then after that is all warehouse.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was over top of Warehouse X, did all the experimental stuff for that, did all the data research for that. So we was getting a data point every 15 seconds on temperatures of the barrels, pressure in the barrels, temperature in the room, airflow in the room, humidity in the room, all kinds of stuff.
That's cool. And how was he to work for? I mean, it's tough for there's two different parts of me. There's the guy who does podcasts, and he doesn't talk to people like me. But I'm just a fan of bourbon, and I like what he makes. So I'm a fan of Harlan Wheatley, even though he won't come on any of our shows. And again, it's just part of the job, and he doesn't like that part of it. But he seems to do a good part with what he's supposed to do, make good whiskey. So what's the guy like, though?
He's a good boss. I mean, I learned a lot from him. He's very intelligible. Everything he knows, he wants to understand why it's happening. So like we just didn't do stuff just because we did it for the last 200 years. We did it and we figured out why we was doing it. So everything we did, he wanted to research exactly why it was. Even like when we had a tasting panel that decided all the barrels, like if they were going to go into that batch or not. And instead of using only human error, we developed actually chemical compositions of them. And we could say, all right, this barrel is going to fit in Eagle Rare, or this barrel is going to fit in Buffalo Trace, and all that stuff. So he really wants to know why it's happening instead of just, all right, we're just keep doing this, and that's how we did it, and we're going to keep doing it. So
that's cool. And now you work for Paul Coughlin, he's been a guest on the Bourbon Show before. A good guy. I like him a lot. What's he like to work for?
He's a pretty easy boss. He pretty much gives me full control. So he will even tell you that he just writes the checks, and yeah.
Yeah. I've got a fun relationship with him because basically my interaction is usually on email. He's yelling at me for something. So, but I can tell through all of that he's always a nice guy. I really like that guy. So yeah, and he's good. And he's part of like our Distiller for the Day program, which you just did one of those, which is cool. So yeah, I really like the guy. I always write off anything that when he's yelling at me, it's just a New York thing. I'm like a St. Louis guy. We don't yell at people, but in New York, I figure they just yell at everybody. So I'm like, that's just how it is there.
It's more he just wants to get to the point and doesn't like kind of like bullshitting too much, and just was. If you get more than a couple word answer from him, like you usually like a yes or no, or that's it. Like
Right. Okay. All right. So my relationship with him is pure. I mean, that's how he is. So I'm getting the real Paul, that's what I want. So yeah, that's cool. All right. Well, welcome, buddy. We look forward to having you on more shows from here. And yeah, thanks for joining us tonight. So cool. Well, guess what, folks? We drink on the show like every other one on the network. What is everyone drinking tonight? We're going to start with Brandon. What do you got there, man? What are you drinking?
I got our barrel strength bourbon. So our barrel strength is 115 proof, aged 4 years. We do all 53-gallon casks.
Okay. Do you want to give that thing a cork pop and see what you got there? See how it does?
Already did it.
I have a chance.
There's a foul right there. It's yeah, he's new, folks. Remember, he's new. So okay. Lenny, you want to show him how it's done? Lenny will show you how to pop a cork, right?
Lenny will not show you how it's done. There'll be zero cork pop. This is a bad example of what a cork pop is.
This will be embarrassing.
But I will try hard. I've got a brand new bottle of Talnua. They're just outside of Denver. So it's bottled at about a mile high in elevation, then brought up here to over 8,000 feet. They do all Irish style pot distilled whiskey. They make some awesome stuff.
Okay.
I have the lead.
That was not bad for Lenny. Lenny's got the lead. And
Not
it
bad.
was a pop there. So, I mean, it was high pitched and small, but for Lenny, that's good. Turner, what do you got?
That's what they say.
So, in segue to what we'll be talking about tonight, just showing my support, I got some OGD 114. So, can't get it. Oh, you can't see it because of my fucking background, but it's Old Granddad 114.
Good.
Oh.
That's good. He's actually in front of Turner's actually in front of one McNew's t-shirts, which is oddly enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Yeah.
It's a little uncomfortable for all of us. But we'll be fine.
We'll be fine. I'm going to go next. I've got Willet here. This is their 4-year-old rye. This bottle's pretty full. I'm hoping I can pass Turner up here. Here we go. Ooh, that was pretty good. We'll give Turner the lead. So I'm going to throw Turner a bone here. He's got the lead. All right, Royce, what do you got?
It's nice. I'm finally back at the distillery where I've got a large selection of bourbon instead of where my poor wife is. So I've got Four Roses Juice Club pick called Fear and Loathing on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
Nice. Oh, there's your lead. There it goes, Turner. And it's gone. Yeah. And it's like that, it's gone. So it comes down to Royce and his wife, the lovely Miss Beka Sue. What do you got there, Becca? Can you
I've got that American single malt you gave me from Virginia Distilling Company, Courage and Conviction. You know, I don't mind drinking some single malt when Lenny's on. So
True. There you go. So show your support.
Let's see how this thing does.
No, not enough.
No.
Not enough.
Are you kidding?
Nothing.
No.
What?
Maybe it's a single malt thing.
It was loud here. I don't know. Maybe
Lenny's excuses are unbelievable. So now you just added that. We're going to hire an intern to go back through all the shows Lenny's been on.
I just need my mic back because I've got this shitty fucking computer.
Of course. Oh, yeah. It's your computer's fault. Cheers, gang.
Yes.
Cheers.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, it's Bourbon Bracket Challenge time. We're going to determine the best bourbon-themed bowling team name. We'll do that in just a few.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're figuring out the best bourbon-themed bowling team.
Yes, we are. So here are the challengers. It's going to be the Whiskey Thieves, the Bourbon Balls, the Bourbon Barrels, Old Granddads, the High Proofs, the Mash Bills. I think that's good, especially if the guys are all named Bill. That would be good. Fermented Corn and the Pappy Van Strikes. That's the potential team names there. Here's a look at those matchups within that. So the Whiskey Thieves are going to be taking on the Bourbon Barrels. The High Proofs will take on the Pappy Van Strikes. The Old Granddads are taking on the Mash Bills. And finally, the Bourbon Balls are taking on Fermented Corn. Round number one, Brandon, you're going to be first. What do you think is a better name, the Whiskey Thieves or the Bourbon Barrels?
Probably the Whiskey Thieves.
Whiskey Thieves, they go up 1-0. Turner, what are you thinking?
Let's make it interesting. Let's do Bourbon Barrels. I like both names, so I'll just throw it to the bourbon one.
You know, this is one of my better shows, and I feel like all the names are pretty good. I feel like I did a nice job here. I mean,
You think so?
No one else is going to
You could have done better.
No.
I'm with Lenny. They could have been
Bourbon
better.
Barrels. I got some alternate names if anybody wants them. Like,
let's hear what some other names could have been.
Well, I would like to nix Bourbon Barrels, and I would say the Four Shots.
Ooh,
No, that's horrible. That's
No,
horrible.
it's
What
awesome.
about the bad cork
That's good,
pops?
Lenny.
The bad cork
I got
pops.
more.
That's Lenny's
I got
team.
more. It's like excuses. I have more names.
Let's hear
about-
him.
This one's a little weird, but I like it. Lactobacillus.
No.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, that's great. Come on.
No, I mean, yeah.
Royce loves it.
I got more.
Lactobacillus is in. So, hey,
No, if
Okay,
it's
okay.
distillers only, maybe. This is just the general population. They're not going to know what the hell that is. They're not going to like that.
you need to up their
How
game.
about this? How about this? The bung holes. Why is that not on there? Come
'Cause
on.
we use the bung holes on every show. It's like,
Hmm.
best dog name, the bung holes. Yeah, yeah.
We had a
The highballs, spelled with a
highballs.
Z.
The highballs is not bad. That's your best offering so far.
Nah, no way.
Some
4
cool-
shots.
The 4 shots. No.
we had
All
some-
right. Here's where we're at here. Even though he says it's a
Right,
bad
sorry.
name, Bourbon Barrels has tied it up. Bourbon Barrels. So it's Whiskey Thieves and Bourbon Barrels knotted, one apiece. Royce, you're next.
I like the Whiskey Thieves better.
Whiskey Thieves goes up 2-1.
Did you
Miss
see?
Beka Sue, what do you think out of those two? The Whiskey Thieves or the Bourbon Barrels?
What, Steve? Or what, Royce?
I said, hey, did you see where the minor league team here changed their name to the Mashers?
Yes.
I like
Just-
that.
Just temporarily. Just temporarily they did it.
And then they
Um,
did one in Western Kentucky and called them the Bootleggers too. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's not bad. It's not bad.
I'm gonna go with the Whiskey Thieves.
That means the Whiskey Thieves will move on. Goodbye, Bourbon Barrels. Lenny's happy. All right. The High Proofs versus the Pappy Van Strikes. Round number 2. Turner, you're first. What do you think is a better team name? The High Proofs or the Pappy Van Strikes?
As much as I don't want to say this, I will tip my cap to the Pappy Van Strikes.
All right. Pappy Van Strikes goes up 1 zip. Royce, what are you thinking? High Proofs or Pappy Van Strikes?
I'm gonna have to go with Lactobacillus.
Yeah, buddy.
Yes.
I'm going with Pappy Van Strikes.
Van Strikes goes up 2 zip on the verge of elimination. Beka, what do you think?
Kick them out. Pappy Van Strikes.
Pappy Van Strikes.
Move this shit along.
They're gonna be a force, I think. The Old Granddads, who Turner tipped off was his favorite in the drinking session, versus the Mash Bills. Round number 3. Royce, you're first. Old Granddads or the Mash Bills?
I'm going with the old granddads.
Old Granddads goes up 1 zip. Miss Beka Sue.
I like old granddads too.
She is a fan of older men, as she stated many times. So well, she likes a particular cowboy. Lenny, you're next. Old Granddads versus Mash Bills.
I mean, I'm on board with your assessment that if the team is constructed of those named Bill, it's a perfect name. But if it's not, it's a terrible name. So Old Granddads it
Old
is.
Granddads. Since we don't know who the people's names are on this team,
Yeah.
you're gonna
Unless
have
it's
to
all Williams.
Yes, then yeah, that would be perfect then. All right, round number 4. Miss Beka Sue, you're first. The Bourbon Balls versus fermented corn.
We talk about bourbon balls all the time at the distillery. So I'd say bourbon balls.
Bourbon Balls. Bourbon Balls. We're talking the candy, not the medical condition. by the way.
Oh, right.
Yes. All right. Lenny, you are next. Bourbon Balls or fermented corn.
I would say any name with balls in it is getting my vote, but I do think it should be spelled with a Z. So bourbon balls.
Bourbon Balls is up 2 zip despite the no Z at the end. Brandon, you're next. Bourbon Balls or fermented corn?
Going with bourbon balls.
Bourbon Balls moves on. So, folks, here are our final 4. They are as follows. The Whiskey Thieves take on the Pappy Van Strikes. The Old Granddads take on the Bourbon Balls. Round number 6. Brandon, you are first this time. Whiskey Thieves versus Pappy Van Strikes.
I'm still going to stick with the Whiskey Thieves.
Whiskey Thieves goes up 1-0. Turner, what are you thinking?
I would pick the Whiskey Thieves, but I just want to keep it interesting, so we'll add a strike for the Pappy Van Strikes.
Pappy Van Strikes has tied it up. Royce, you're next. Whiskey Thieves or Pappy Van Strikes?
I like the fact that it's got some bowling stuff actually. Pappy Van Strikes.
Pappy Van Strikes goes up 2-1. Miss Beka Sue, what do you think? Whiskey Thieves or Pappy Van Strikes?
You know, I like them both, but I just really want Lenny to have to pick. So I'm going to go with Whiskey Thieves.
Whiskey Thieves has tied it up. So here's where we're at, Lenny. You're going to be our first tiebreaker of this entire game. Whiskey Thieves versus Pappy Van Strikes.
I think of your list, which is pretty good. These two names are the best on the list. So it's a tough choice to make. I think Whiskey Thieves is good for anything. It could be a bar name, a band name, obviously a bowling team league name. But there's something about the regalness of Pappy Van Strikes. And as well, I think one could wear those Van Winkle 1,000-mile boots as bowling shoes, and it would all work. They'd be expensive bowling shoes. But
yes.
So Pappy Van Strikes is my long-winded answer.
Pappy Van Strikes will be in our finale. Whiskey Thieves. That is my fantasy football team name, the Whiskey Thieves. Yeah.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
Ooh, shots fired.
Yeah. It's kind of rude that they've been eliminated. All right. Round number 6. Brandon, you're going to be first here. Old Granddads versus the Bourbon Balls.
I think I'm going to go with that Old Granddads.
Old Granddads goes up 1-0. Turner, what do you think?
Well, because I am tied slightly to the Old Granddad brand, I am going to tip my cap to the Old Granddad.
All right. That means Old Granddads is going to go up 2-0 over the Bourbon Balls. Royce, you're next. What do you think? Old Granddad or Bourbon Balls?
Go with Bourbon Balls.
Bourbon Balls still has life. Miss Beka Sue, what do you think? Old Granddads or Bourbon Balls?
Let's close it out with the Old Granddads.
Old Granddads. We'll move to the finale. So our finale looks like this, folks. Pappy Van Strikes versus Old Granddads. Round number 7. Turner is first.
Well, I'm going to tip my cap to the Old Granddads.
Old Granddads goes up 1-0. Royce?
I'm going with Old Granddads.
Old Granddads comes roaring out 2-0. Beka Sue, you can close this thing out, or you can give Pappy Van Strikes life in this game.
I'm giving Pappy Van Strikes a shot of life here.
Okay. All right. Lenny, here's where we're at. Pappy Van Strikes is down. They're on life support here, but they have life. They're down 2-1 to Old Granddads. What are you thinking?
It's definitely the Pappy Van Strikes.
Van Strikes has come roaring back after being down 2-0 and now has tied it up. So it all comes down to this. Forget everything else that we've done. None of that even matters. Right here, right now, Brandon, it all comes down to your first show ever on the Bourbon Daily. And probably this is the most important show we've ever done. And it comes down to you. Pappy Van Strikes versus Old Granddads. Best bowling team name that's bourbon themed.
Old Granddads, for sure.
That means
What a guy. Oh, what a guy.
Old Granddads wins it. And unfortunately for Brandon, he'll no longer be invited on any shows. We're going to let him go. And no, I'm kidding. It's fine. Whatever you select was good. That's the right answer. So that means the Old Granddads is our champion. So our friends at Jim Beam now taking a lap around, high-fiving each other. We did it again. So, yeah, it's cool. All right. Well, we will wrap this one up, as we always do, by talking about where people can find us. Brandon, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
So you can find our distillery at Taconic Distillery, or at Taconic_distillery on Instagram. Myself, it's at the Alchemist 86 on Instagram.
All right. Turner, how about you? Where can people find you?
Check us out at rollingforkrum.com, or Rolling Fork Rum is our Instagram tag handle. Go there if you want some cocktail recipes with some rum in it.
All right. Lenny, how about you? Where can people find you?
You can find Deerhammer Distillery on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Deerhammer, online, deerhammer.com. And you can come out and visit us in beautiful Buena Vista, Colorado, where corks do not pop loud.
All right. Royce.
Find me on Facebook and Instagram at Neely Family Distillery, at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com. You can find me personally at Neely Family Distillery, the physical location, or on the podcast Distillers Talk with Alan Bishop and Christy Atkinson.
Thank you for that spirited plug. All right, Miss Beka Sue, you're next.
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Beka Sue, 1K, no C's.
All right. For me, I'm an easy guy to find at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out because everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more. abvnetwork.com. Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps when people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
All right, great job today, gang. For our audience, we're going to have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See you.
Bye.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Peace.
Good job, Lenny.